Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2, where things are about to get fairly serious between us and the Hisho, and then once that happens, I don't really know what our plan is. We don't know a ton about the galaxy beyond Hisho Land. We are going to have to deal with these Cravers at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Let's not bother trying to look too far forward. Let's just focus on the stuff we know we need to do right now. This commander is coming along pretty slowly. I actually think maybe we could delay this a little bit. Now that we have the tech necessary to colonize this ice world, maybe we make that a little bit more of a priority. We get this colonized, we turn it into a Temple of the Lost, we generate a ton of extra influence from this system, and that'll let us put pressure on, like, ESO, and, I mean, eventually this other stuff. I don't know how long it's going to take for the influence bubble to grow that much, but it's going to be a minute. Yeah, so that's definitely a higher priority. Unfortunately, we're going to have to end up with we're going to want to rush this, right? 8 turns is too long to wait for that. I guess we'll use the winnings from the war once we start getting paid off of that law that we're running. So we got to pick a research, and then we got to get moving again. It might be a good idea to start picking up the mining technologies, especially since we have both adamantium and antimatter already in our systems. What other things could we go? We could go for autonomous materials or something. We could learn to make our own behemoths. Actually, let's put that in the queue because that's an earlier tier research. That'll come down pretty quickly. And then we'll figure out everything else later. I'm really curious whether we're going to be allowed to trade the pirate system to the Academy or not. I'm also curious what the cost of doing that is going to be. I assume it won't just be like a free button I press. I probably will have to spend, I'm guessing, some influence, because influence is usually what it costs to mess with people's systems using your influence bubble. So let's see, we can see that they have a fleet over here of Hawks. They have some warships left. It's interesting that they don't feel the need to try to stop me from harming their systems. Maybe because we haven't formally declared war, maybe they don't really understand what's going on here yet. Once we take Kuma, things will probably be a little bit clearer. I'm actually not 100% sure. So Righteous Fury says you can invade in enemy territory while being at Cold War. Okay, I'm going to assume that it works just like being in a hot war, where it becomes mine after we take it, and not that, like, we just violently, like, excise the population entirely or anything. So this coming turn, they'll have almost no defenses left. They do have 6 points of population, so they could potentially mount a fair amount of defense. Okay, Aquarius has been compromised. Gee, I wonder who by. Not too concerned about it, frankly. Let's deliver a bunch more manpower and group these guys up in a way that makes sense. So all the warships in one fleet, all the siege ships in another. We've learned about a thing we don't care about. I guess, actually, let's not try to figure out what we're building on Aquarius just yet. So they have 18 manpower remaining, and our fleets have a pretty considerable amount in total. Do we have the ability to buy any other upgrades? No, we do not. Obviously, this upgrade is pretty great, but we just can't, we don't have any other resources for it. So I guess let's just boots on the ground, huh? Oh, I was gonna... We're still a couple of turns off of that hack where we screw with their ground battle tactics. I forgot. I'm going to put us in blitz mode here. Let's just apply as much of our manpower as possible. This raises our manpower deployment limit a little bit because each point of our manpower is so much more effective than each point of theirs. I think it behooves us to just jam as many troops into this battle as possible. Okay, and we won very, very easily. I think that we just take this. We don't need it desperately, but I don't think it makes sense to, like, burn it down or anything, and it'll give us a little bit of a staging ground for the attack on Hamal. And I mean, Kuma does have resources. You know, we're still getting valuable stuff from it. So they used the Sacred Ground tactic. Apparently, the Hisho have different ground defense tactics than everybody else. I don't think that's a thing that I knew. Sure didn't work. Alright, so here on Kuma, let's try to build ourselves some defenses so that this doesn't get just taken back immediately. And then we don't really have a lot of movement left. I think we could probably... Okay, I was looking at our ships, I was like, what ship is even damaged? But it's this one over here. You know what? That's probably a thing that is worth doing. I know that we're a little low on dust right now and we have an expensive thing that we want to buy, but it makes sense for our combat ships to be ready to fight. So, projectile weapons and energy defenses. They are very unprepared to deal with the commander. I'm feeling pretty good about this. We should try to get one more... In fact, I'm going to pull one of the siege ships out of this fleet and merge it into this one. Because at 10 command points, you have access to all 3 of the flotillas, which is going to give us a pretty significant advantage, obviously. Alright, Pisces is doing its thing. And I guess we have to make a decision about Aquarius. How much more war do I think we're in for? It might be more than 0. It might be a thing that we should continue to prepare for. I mean, what else could we do here? What else would be valuable? I mean, sure, cerebral reality. We can just knock a couple of these simple things out very quickly. We're at a point where happiness buildings would also be pretty good. Maybe this is what we do for right now, rather than building more warships, because it's entirely possible, looking at his navy, that we're armed up enough. Maybe we should just be building another commander. Alright, let's prioritize that. I'm just thinking I don't want to undercommit here and end up losing my fleet and then having to start rebuilding, and this is probably better. So we have a hack that's about to finish execution on Hamal, which is like really well timed, actually. We did this. Okay, yep, I totally forgot about this, but we sure did do it. We got basic improved fleet management, which I honestly don't think is very good. Alright, and now we must wield great power. Y'all remember this. So we can take over the Academy. I don't think that that's really a sensible thing to try to do. We could give them 9 systems as a gift, or we could just unlock some stuff. This is what we did last time. I'm wondering about doing this instead, though. The Academy is at Zuben, which I don't even know where that is. But we're going to try to be aggressive about giving systems to the Academy. Let's go this way. And honestly, that Galactic Faith Museum seems like a good quest reward. Alright. The Academy, the location of the Academy has been revealed. I wonder if it just always happens that everybody gets to see the Academy's position as soon as a Nakalim player in the game reaches this step of their quest, because the quest step tells you explicitly where it is. Alright, let's come to an end, which is fine. We can start making our own behemoths now. Kuba is starving, because obviously right after you take a planet over, people there are fairly unhappy. Listen, it'll get handled. It's not going to be a problem forever. So do we want to... We could go to the marketplace and sell off some titanium, and I think we probably ought to. So that we can go to Kuma and buy out the tractable armaments. And then from there we can work on some more basic stuff, but I want to get this defensive structure up immediately. Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense to try to do any of this other stuff here. It's always remarkable to me, like, how underdeveloped AI planets are, especially in terms of industry. Like, you will very often take over a planet, and it will not have drone networks or xeno-industrial infrastructure. And sometimes that's your fault. Sometimes you destroy some stuff as you're coming in. This guy could be over here. It would be all right. But we didn't. They just didn't have drone networks. I think the AI really underprioritizes industry. Oh, sure, I should probably be researching something. That's a fair point. So, we could grab some Behemoth-related technology here. 14,000 bonus health and also extra weapon slots. I do like that idea. Because I think we're going to make some military behemoths. And this will unlock the next tier of the military tree, which will give us some more advanced modules, some additional manpower capacity, more command points for our fleets, extra levels for our ships when they're built. I mean, that's a pretty solid overall tech there. And we do have the movement that we could just go over there. I think this is the time before they upgrade this thing any further. How much health is on my commander? About half of what that thing has, but I have 10 times its weapon systems. Well, like 8 times its weapon systems. I think we can fight this thing off here. And we will leave the siege ships behind because they have nothing to contribute to a battle like this. So he wants to be close range, right? Yeah, he is a bullet ship. He will probably... So their middle flotilla will probably play a close range card here. So I think what I'm actually going to do is... Let's move even one more guy out of here. This side's going to be at long range, so we want you guys over here. The Wardens want to be close. The thing is, a behemoth is 10 command points, so I really want to get my 300 dust here, but maybe we'd be better off playing influential. It's a little tricky because we're only actually going to be at close range in the middle flotilla, even if we play a card like this that has close at other ranges, due to the weirdness of ranging in between different flotillas. So I think we are going to go take trophies. We'll put this guy in the spot that's going to be close. And I'm going to put the Wardens in there with him. 2 Wardens, I guess. I'm trying to, like, you want to make sure that you don't lose that third flotilla, because obviously each flotilla is giving us a 15% damage boost, and we care about that quite a bit. So do I want to put a second ship in there just so like this guy doesn't accidentally get broadsided or something? I think we're fine. I think we'll run it like this. Let's see what happens. So we are not getting optimal damage out of everybody here, but it should be pretty good. So both fleets get hull plating penetration on their weapon modules. That makes sense. Obviously he's big on bullet weapons, but so are we. Let's see how this goes. I think we're going to win, but I'm not at all sure how the how our losses are going to look. Okay, I like to see the third flotilla in like this, in a position where it's not going. We're not going to see any random damage occur to it, since we're behind him. You are not going to see a ton of DPS from us during this first phase. Actually, it's better than I thought it was going to be. These guys are already operating at optimal range, I think. I really need to do some testing and just like really figure out how it works, how the range differences in different flotillas work. We've totally got him. The phase where these flotillas close in a little bit is going to be... Never mind. The battle's going to end almost immediately. Well, that was pretty good. We created a nice debris field, got ourselves paid. Wait, hold on. 2,600. So Spoils of War... Okay, Spoils of War is 100 and... Yeah, okay, never mind. For some reason, I had just forgotten what the numbers were on that thing. Okay, this will be the Hisho, probably pretty mad about the thing I just did.
Anger us.
Obviously, I refuse to stop attacking you. Under no circumstances will I stop attacking you. They really don't have any defenses built here. I don't think they were prepared for a war. I think they were expecting this to be a prolonged skirmishing kind of conflict. They weren't ready for me to just roll up. I mean, I didn't even have any medium ships out until the turn we went in, so they just kind of got caught with their pants down here. How much is coming off of this each turn? We will probably be able to make this colony on Pisces 2 start up next turn. We could probably actually make it happen now if I was willing to sell off some stuff. And we don't need the Dark Glitter. We don't need any of this. That was 5 dust. That was probably not even worth the effort it took to press that button. And then we'll sell just like a couple of these, and that should do it, right? Let's get that going, because right now we're just wasting food with no slots for building left in the area. Okay. Well, I do believe our friends the Hisho are in a tremendous amount of trouble.
The Academy has a request for you.
Okay, the Academy would like dust. That's a real shame. I don't have a lot of dust available. So I think we want to support some revolutionaries, right? See, it uses the populations of systems to spawn pirate invasion fleets. I'm not sure... Well, I guess it's fine. It's going to spawn some extra ships that we may end up being the ones who fight, but we like fighting people, so thanks to our laws. So yeah, spawn some revolutionaries. Not here, though. These revolutionaries need to go away. And I mean, that's a completely trivial kill. It's just a little bit of free money for us. Strategy took a little longer to come online than I would have liked, but it's working. Now that it is online, it's working. So he created a colonizer. It's a bad time for it. Somebody else... Oh, somebody else got a hero to level 9. It's true, my heroes are nowhere near level 9. Is that 20 Nakalim we just hit? Is indeed. Well, actually, we produced quite a few this turn. Zirmisala buff is almost out, and when it ends, we're going to have to spend almost all of our red sang to re-enable it. It's a little bit awkward, considering we want that for system development as well. Oh well, what are you going to do? Did we get our system development off here? Yeah, we did. It's a level 2 colony. Okay. So this will keep advancing. Oh, actually, we should... Let's figure this out. Where do we actually want people to be? So obviously, the food output on Nullen 2 is pretty good, but people are very unhappy when they're there. And right now, we're just on the border of happy. I think maybe we don't want to move anybody over there for now. Because I don't want to lose the food bonus from being happy. We'll change up our population later. Alright, so how much manpower is in my fleets? Did we get back to completely full? It looks like we did. Yeah, we really didn't lose anything in the attack on Kuma, so all of the manpower that came off of the fleets was able to just get right back in. Well, that being the case, I think we just hover here for like a turn or two, right? How long... The effect of that hack was 5 turns, I think? Where do we want to hack over here in Craverville? Let's send a hack from Nolan, maybe? Actually, I'm going to send a hack from Altair to Iso. Well, do I care about Iso? Getting sleepers there probably doesn't tell us too much. I guess if we were going to try to take over one of their colonies through traditional military means, it would probably be Lakim. The reason I'm a little leery of doing this is that their traceback will be really fast if we do it this way. I might run kind of an indirect route like this just to give the trace a little bit more to get stuck on. And then actually we probably want to run some programs here. Let's go ahead and accelerate. What does overload do? I don't think that matters. Then we probably need to get some defensive programs up, right? Like, Nolan could really use one, and honestly, Pisces should probably be encrypted as well. So we are right up against our bandwidth limit. Okay, you don't pay the bandwidth cost for the accelerator until it's actually triggered. And then we'll want to pull and encrypt somewhere. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that it's the Hisho who have been hacking Aquarius, so I think we could probably drop this encrypt, because they're gonna be less of a problem in a minute here. Oh, well, we should probably turn Pisces 2 into a Temple of the Lost right now. There's no real reason to wait on that. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot about this quest. 30 titanium is probably not a super big deal for actual strategic resource purposes, but it'll be nice to be able to sell it. And we're just going to kill every single ship that they spawn here. Every ship that is built here, every ship that shows up here. They're all basically just pinatas. Pinatas full of science and money. So what, we wait one more turn and then hit him? Should be a pretty easy take there. God, I love these things being so fast. We made the right call, putting so much engine in them. Alright, so we're building all that basic stuff in Aquarius that we still need. Yeah, we may well just, like, Temple of the Lost all of the planets in Hamal. I'm not sure that we need any of them. We're getting pretty close to having our influence bubble overtake the pirates. We're also, like, slowly sieging them down, and eventually when they spawn another fleet, we'll be able to probably kill it right away. I gotta remember, this fleet is not actually very strong. May have to be a little bit careful with them. But you can actually see, turn over turn, like when it flips to a new turn, you can see the movement of our influence bubbles, which is pretty good. What is this? There are logistics fleets able to leave Hamal without being intercepted by me, for some reason.
Feel free to anger
Okay,
us.
obviously I refuse to remove my trespassing. I refuse to stop my attacking. I don't really care about his reactions. I refuse to allow you to have ships in orbit around your own systems. Obviously, at this point he should be aware that this is what's going to happen. The AI has a real problem with like piecemeal strategic execution. That's not even an endless space problem. That's a like strategy games in general problem. They don't do that step of like, if I want 11 ships on Hamal, maybe I should have them meet up at Lacerda and then move together. It's just like a thing that completely evades AI for some reason. Alright, now that we have another proper commander here, I'm gonna pop this siege ship back into the siege fleet, and we'll merge these up. That's how we'll get above 10 command points there. You know what, we could wait one more turn. I guess it wouldn't hurt us to wait one more turn. Yeah, but also there's no reason to. Get down there, do the thing, just blitz them. So they were forced to use the inferior ground tactic of, oh god, everybody panic, which is a pretty powerful hack reward right there. 4 of the Hisho died in the fighting. I mean, you gotta give it to them. They do not surrender. Hey look, they actually did build some of the basic buildings on their home system that we are now going to have to rebuild. And yeah, this is mine now, obviously. So, as far as our colonization limit goes, we're getting pretty close. We should probably, at this point, stop taking over Hisho systems and instead either just try to conquer them through growing Hamal's influence bubble or just start raising them. I guess that's also an option. And here we got to rebuild. We did a small amount of damage to the place. We kind of wrecked the joint up, which is, you know, is a thing that we do from time to time. We should probably also put down some money and buy out those tractable armaments. Fortunately, we just got a little bit of a financial windfall here. Just want to make sure that those are in place. And yeah, like a snow world and an ice world have very little value to us. These two maybe will not get turned into temples. Maybe. We should make all this stuff happen. Of these 2 worlds, it definitely makes way more sense for people to be over here. Also, the Illo produce more resources when they're on a hot world. Okay, the system's population is trying to emigrate. We'll see about that. There may not be any civilization on Lacerda left for them to flee to in a moment. I don't think we want to run just yet. We want to be here long enough to intercept that guy. We should probably have Aquarius become a Behemoth building center, but I'm going to try to get our approval up to some reasonable level before we do that. We have not been managing our approval very well this game. We've had a lot of other stuff going on, and we're certainly not doing poorly. Researchers. Well, This would be a bad time to lose dust. We don't really have enough dust as it is, and honestly, I don't think we need the science all that badly at this moment. We have enough of a technological advantage that we can push maybe even a two-front war for a while. So I'm just going to take this option. Take this guy out. This fleet is even more powerful than it was before. Yep, people on the new system starving out of rage. It's rage starvation. So how long do we want to just sit here? Like, I want to make sure that these ships are not in a position to take Hamal back, and I'm not sure if the population here would be willing to fight on our behalf or not. I mean, I think it's ours. It's effectively ours. You can see there's a little band here expanding around the edge of the system. Once it fills up, we will have proper full ownership. It will just be one of ours. It takes a while, though. It takes some time. So I'm a little leery of leaving before that's done, but I do want to burn down Lacerda. He's got a bunch of systems over here, though. Maybe we do need, if we're thinking about a conquest win, maybe we do need to take these systems over, even though they're bad and weak. I was kind of hoping to get to sell a lot of them to the Academy, but we don't actually know how long the process of rehabilitating Hamal's influence barrier is going to take. Well, maybe what I do is I just split off a couple of ships, like send one of the commanders, one of the wardens, something like this. Send the siege ships over to start doing the business of sieging and bring with us just enough warships that we're definitely going to beat anything that these guys have, and then we can still have enough forces around Hamal to beat their piecemeal hawk offense, which is really just a baffling play. I'm a little torn on it though, because I really do want to try just turning all the systems over to the Academy. It just takes a long time to get your influence really running. Out of curiosity, there's a technology over here somewhere that is the thing. Okay, yeah, this is what allows you to absorb other people's systems via your influence aura. It looks like we do not need this to do our thing. But if we're thinking about maybe taking over some more systems, it might be a good idea to throw xenoanthropology on the pile. We could use another system on our colonization limit. We could grab like this and one of the specialization options for the blueprints or for the behemoths. Every technology that has a behemoth bonus on it contributes to the number that you're allowed to run. So even if we didn't make use of the Behemoth C3 Center, allowing us to produce more guys, researching this would help. It would contribute. Or we could pick up split-second ablatives, get our other medium ship design, and also add a bunch of HP to behemoths. Yeah, let's maybe make that a priority. And then we'll need one more tech here to unlock the next tier of this quadrant. So maybe we do grab Citadel blueprints. We could get hyper packs, which will give us more diplomatic options. Grab this, which gives us colonial rights, which is certainly a powerful building. Yeah, maybe what we want to do is that. Maybe that's our plan. And I know that we're not producing a ton of science per turn, even with all of these things devoted to it. We're going to have to pull some of this in through violence. That's okay. We're good at science through violence. It would take us 2 turns to get down to Lacerda. And this is not even the furthest front of his empire on this side. Maybe we'd be better off going in the other direction. What, he has systems here, here, and here. The stuff beyond that is probably Riftborn, though? Yeah, let's go that way. I think that's sensible. I'm also noticing... Okay, they're just scouts, but... Definitely things I'm not happy to see. Cravers flying around in my territory. We still can't colonize Altair 3. The desert colonization tech is down here somewhere. It's evaporation inhibitors? Yeah. It's inconvenient. It's inconvenient to make that a priority, which is to say that maybe I won't. Yeah, I guess not. We are going to hit our population cap there fairly soon, though. At least, you know, as the population cap and growth rates stand now. It would be really nice to get that extra planet. Okay, this thing. Doubling the experience gain of our hero I don't think is super great for us. And I don't think this matters at all. 10 approval on Pisces. Would that push it up to a new level of approval? It wouldn't by itself. It'd get us 1 point below a threshold, so we might be able to make it happen.
Our purpose is to
Also, okay. That I don't care about. I'm gonna take the experience gains, I guess. We're gonna finish a medium ship there, so that'll be a nice XP, nice boost of XP. Doubling that has some value. And I do want him to get leveled up and get some of his higher level skills. He's not been advancing very quickly. Alright, let's have at you. Okay, so here he's got a hero ship, along with a hawk. I don't think we should have any problem with this. He's going to want to fight at long range. Okay, so both of these ships are missile-based, which means the commander is going to be very good at not taking damage from them. We can just shoot down all of their missiles. Yep, they dealt almost no damage at all. Unfortunately, I can't go into guard mode because there is still an enemy here. Seems like the pirate vessels, the rebellion vessels that we spawned, aren't really doing anything. They don't seem great. We could start working on our Behemoth. Narc University is a good thing to have, but honestly, Altair may not be the right place. What's the population looking like? Okay, Hamal's not. Hamal's got a reasonably high pop cap. Aquarius is probably the place to build it. We could maybe put this ahead of the Luxuries Lottery, now that the Luxuries Lottery is still not going to be enough to push us up to happy. We just need happiness, like, really badly. We need a lot more happiness. Here, I think Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure's pretty okay. 2 planets, one of which is fertile. Yeah, against currently a 70%, or a 70 per turn output of industry. That's a fairly significant increase there. And for some reason, they think they can just fly over here and mess with us. Seems like a poor plan to me. Okay, we have our Academy Embassy. We are accumulating hero points, doing my best to get access to some more heroes. And then, at this point, I guess we could go for a wonder or something. We could build a Behemoth here at the capital as well. It's pretty far away from the front, but it's maybe worth it. Or we could just build kind of bad. Like, the Intergalactic Technology Center is one of the few science things that we almost get full value from, because the reduction in cost on technologies has the same effect for us that it does for everybody else. It's not reduced by our stuff. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and build this. It's weird that the Intergalactic Technology Center gives religious political impact rather than scientific. I wonder what that's about. And actually, we should probably go ahead and specialize these worlds. I think we're just going to have them be spin project worlds, because I don't know that we... I don't think that at the moment we want to convert anything to a temple here. Like, we still have growing to do and building to do. And I don't think we benefit too much from any of the other choices there. and we just need more influence. Our population is growing pretty rapidly. Our laws are getting pretty expensive. So what we're looking for with the other systems that do not belong to us, in order for us to have some measure of control over them, is we're looking for the influence bubble to pass the star. There's a lot of art on a system, but effectively, like, the hitbox of the system is its star. Alright, Pisces has been hacked. Even through our encryption, we just couldn't get a trace going off, I guess. Alright, we have to make a choice with this guy. Do we want to continue pushing influence, or do we want to try to make him a fleet commander from here on, so that we can get more benefit from the relics? I think I'm just going to go for Lucky Windfall. He's on a system that is producing a fair amount of influence, and then we could start pulling relics, I guess, and assigning them to this. I don't know that I want to do that right this second. I think we still need the science badly enough. Especially since my plan of getting a lot of our science through bullying other players is not working out, because they don't have enough stuff for us to destroy for it to be actually profitable. Like, we're getting something, but I sure would love to be getting like 2,600 science per battle again. Alright, Osulo had a tiny bit more manpower, but it's also been under siege.
Free to anger.
Okay, yep, you're trying desperately to increase your defensive power. Probably too little too late. So I don't really care about that. We dealt with this. We got our Behemoth weaponization and our various bonuses. And the political survey looks about how you would expect it to look, given that military events give religious support for us. So yeah, we'll take one more turn around Osulo, and then we'll drop an invasion force, and I guess we'll take it over. I'm not overjoyed about it. It does have Red Sang, at least. So if we are actually going to take these by force, that reduces the need for us to turn all of Hamal into a temple. So we want to do it in these other systems instead. Okay, the military militants have caused militarism. Who would have thought? Down here on Nalin. See, this is a place where it might be a good idea to go super hard on temples. Also, we've been attacked at Gia. This is, yeah. I don't agree with this at all. I don't think they're powerful enough to be that dangerous. Okay, that was a reasonable amount of resource gain. Yeah, how much do we want to temple this place up? Because obviously, it would be cool to just have the ability to build some things for a while. Maybe we want to focus on that. In particular, stuff like this. The Luxuries Lottery is only 5 points of approval here, so we probably don't bother with that. Give me a shipyard, and I mean, let's go ahead and just really toughen the place up, make it a fortress, and then convert a huge amount of it into a temple, and just try to push influence on everybody from here. Lakim is going to be difficult to out-influence because it has that unique world, so maybe our plan on that one should be to just fly over there and take it down the hard way. We probably want to try to maintain our religious party in the lead in our government so that we can try to take Lakim without declaring proper war on the Cravers. Alright, it looks to me like this is within our influence area now. And it doesn't seem like we have...
Sure we have.
I don't see any buttons for any new opportunities here. Yeah, I don't know where I would expect to see the option to trade the system to the Academy. Maybe we would do it by talking to the Academy? So how much dust do people put in? We can't actually see, we just know percentages. We could try to throw in some dust of our own, see if we couldn't maybe get a hold of, like, the Spear of Isyander. Thing is, I kind of want to use my money for, like, war stuff. Being able to buy out ships and retrofit and quick repair. think we're going to hold on to that. Maybe it's just the case that you can't do it to pirates. At this point, we could invade the pirates, and we would be able to just flood the battle with our Empire manpower. I'm going to give it a couple more turns of growth, just in case like the game's not considering us to actually have control over there yet. We'll do this thing. And I think we're just going to capture it. I think we're just going to take it over. So that is exactly our colonization limit, right? You know, maybe they fixed the problem where the AI was not building basic buildings. They still didn't have a Xeno-industrial infrastructure. But they're doing better here. So there's some tunneled slip gates on this planet. It is impossible to blockade, and it has more star system trade value. A natural anomaly whose probable existence is less than 0. The series of natural quantum-linked transport gates create tunnels from the planet's surface to various points in the star system. That seems very useful. So is this a place where we would try to temple up, maybe? Lacerda will make a fine temple location, being able to push on Mizar and stuff.
A special place in the void awaits you.
Okay, Green thinks they might go to war with us. I can't recommend enough that you not do that for your own safety. I mean, for my purposes, it's great, but it seems like maybe suicide. Yeah, so I think we're just not going to be able to trade the pirate system to the Academy. The text on the thing does say other players, systems owned by other players. I'm never sure, like, are they a player if they have a diplomacy screen or something, but I guess it must just be like actual other factions who can win the game. So, while it has been known for ages that the concrete branch of the Endless subjected the Hisho to genetic manipulation, recent discoveries have come to show the extent of the change that was inflicted. Before the Endless interventions, the Hisho were thinner, lighter, faster, and had proper wings. However, after lots of market studies, it was determined that the audiences preferred Hisho that looked more like saber-wielding warriors than true birds of prey. They were therefore modified along these lines. You know, that kind of makes me wonder if they're, shoot, I can't remember the name of them now. But there's an Endless Legend race that has... It fits that description. I guess those guys are... The Hisho are not from Auriga, so... Never mind. That may not be their origin point after all. Discovery of these facts has caused a great deal of strong feelings within the Empire. While some believe that the Endless simply sped up the process of evolution, others decry the brutality and immorality of genetic manipulation. There has been violent political debate, and all signs point to impending violence in the streets. Apparently they're somehow planning to protest the long-dead Endless. So we could appreciate... Appreciate what? Regardless of their methods, the results have been the peerless warriors of the Hisho Empire, and we should appreciate their efforts, okay. Have 5 planets with only Hisho major population. Do we have... We could make that happen here. We could make one of these only have Hisho on it. Down here in Kuma... Yeah, we can make that happen there too. That would give us 2 such worlds. Over here, we have a bunch of Kalgaros. So that's actually not going to be trivial to do. And the energy enhancer module that it gives is only okay. Or maintain 2 religious laws. This is a thing that we could totally do. The Roost Guard shield is okay, but picking this will give us a little bit of a religious political support boost, and I think we want that. I don't think either of those rewards is like amazing. Alright, I'm gonna send him over here, and then we're just gonna drop manpower on the pirate base and be done with that. And now we have a little bit more strength on the border with the Cravers, so it's not going to be completely trivial for them to roll over us. And the question is, do we build another warship here, another commander, or do we build a military behemoth? I'm definitely more worried about the Cravers as a military force than I am about the Riftborn. So if we're going to build a military behemoth anywhere, here, like on this front, is where it makes the most sense. It could be Altair, it could be Pisces. Altair's busy. So yeah, I guess let's do it here. Although let's fiddle with the design a little bit first, shall we? So you can see the base values for our Behemoth, thanks to our tech, pretty solid. What exactly do we want to do? We do have access to the tractor beam, which prevents the enemy from escaping. I would really like to install a tractor beam. Unfortunately, it requires adamantium that we don't have, but it only requires a little tiny bit of it. Yeah, we can make that happen. Oh, but it's not actually going to be 2, right? Because there's a module multiplier on the Behemoth. So, yeah, if we were to install this, it would actually take 8 adamantium. Still probably worth it. Preventing enemy fleets from escaping, and thus, you having to chase them down, actually pretty handy. So what would that cost me? Get me 8 adamantium is really expensive, it turns out, because the cost, scales up. Well, this fungus is worth, like, basically nothing. We could get there. Right, we have plenty of strategic resources that I would feel comfortable selling. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. We're gonna outfit a Behemoth with this. Maybe I'm too concerned about enemies fleeing. It's just very annoying. Alright, so we'll put it in that slot. We'll give you the best engine we can. Only 2 support slots is actually pretty harsh. We're not gonna be able to get this thing moving as fast as I would like. And then what do we want to do as far as weapon systems? Well, for one thing, we can install fleet modules. So we could put some bombers in here. Would give us a pretty reasonable damage output against large ships. Against large ships, they're 63 DPS relative to, like, the slugs and stuff. The big upside with this is that it's really hard to deal with these. And they do their full damage regardless of range and regardless of flotilla distance. It's like the bombers from the Behemoth can be fired at anybody on any flotilla. Obviously, we don't have any control over how that works, so it's a little unpredictable. But it might be better than just putting a weapon in that slot. And then here we have the Mega slot. This is double the effectiveness. It's basically an X2 modifier slot on top of our normal X4 modifier. So this weapon slot matters a lot. What we put in here is going to have a huge effect. Oh, also, we have better versions of our basic defense modules. I think I'm going to do this. We'll just give it a nice balance of defensive parts. These are basic ultra dense. Okay, those are out of date bullet modules. I guess we could make the whole thing bombers. I'm not sure if I want to do that. It's like our missile weapons have pretty low DPS. Against small ships, the bombers only have 21 damage per second. It's certainly not great. But maybe that makes sense. Maybe this is a fine thing to do. We could also, I suppose, just coat the thing in boarding pods. That doesn't feel necessary to me. I think we can probably leave that to the mind flayers. There are a bunch of fancy modules that are only available on Behemoths, of course. I don't think we're going to bother with any of that stuff. I don't think we need a cloaking module. I want them to know right where I am. Let's make it easy for them to come and fight us. I think we might just go heavy on the bombers. I'm not usually wild about fleet modules, but bombers are pretty okay. And we don't have great levels of most of our weapons tech. And then these guys are energy-based. These are plasma bombers. So I sort of want to put a projectile weapon in the big ship slot, just to mix up our damage types and make it harder to defend against us. So we have 61 DPS on our torpedoes, 68 on the bullets, and then the bullets don't also have the chance of getting shot out of the sky. I think that's the design. So 24 turns, really? And each turn we're taking about 2k off of this cost. I mean, we can put a little bit of money into that. Honestly, we could probably put a fair amount of money into that. We're mining strategic resources at a pretty decent rate, and they sell for a lot. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with building that there. It's not going to take 24 turns, because we're going to channel a lot of other resources into it. We probably should not attack the Academy fleet. So yeah, you can see there's definitely been some strife between the Riftborn and the Hisho, because there's a singularity here, slowing down resource output and stuff. They have slowed time on the planet, or on the system rather. Yeah, we'll hover here, get a little bit of siege on. I wonder if we could just have these guys move down to Lacerda. I mean, do I think that there's any chance of the Hisho having enough ships down there to cause a problem? Probably not. We can start slow sieging here. Obviously, we don't have all the fancy modules, but that'll be good enough. And then we might want to, after we get some of this other stuff built, we might want to consider building a Mind Flayer ship or two on this side, just so that we can take a little bit of advantage of the Craver ships, because I'm sure they've built up actual stuff. Actually, that might be what we do on Nakalim, once we get all of our defenses and whatnot in place. Build some Mind Flayers, so that if the Cravers show up with a big fleet, it's only a danger at first. Then we take over a significant portion of it and use it as our defense fleet. It's another reason that I'm a little loath to build, okay, Osulo's been hacked, I don't care about that. And on Lycium, they have, in fact, detected our hack, but this is where that longer route should come into play. So we have 4 turns to complete our thing before they cover this distance with their trace. I think that should work. I do not think it would work if we had just gone straight from Nullen to Lycium. I do feel a little bit bad for the Hisho, because retreating is so painful. In this situation, what a lot of AI forces would be doing is they'd be retreating these units away, running them to a safe place and letting them heal, and that would be very annoying for us. But because it is non-trivial for them to retreat, they're just losing stuff all over the place. What do we want to do here? We've gotten back up to content. We're like 3/4 in control, so we're suffering a pretty small ownership penalty at this point. I'm wondering about building the happiness buildings. I'm wondering if we could get up to a reasonable level here. Also, we've had this quest forever. I have not at any point managed to have 2 systems above 70% at the same time. And things are only going to get worse, happiness-wise, as we continue to explore here. Okay, big ship has arrived. Let's just nuke these pirates and get to more important business. We should have a fairly serious advantage here. Ooh, we don't actually have enough manpower in this fleet to take good advantage of Blitz. That being the case, maybe we do preemptive bombing instead, so this will do a bunch of damage before the battle actually starts, hopefully wipe out a bunch of them. We don't need to pressure them the same way we have to pressure a player, because they have no source of additional manpower. Once that pool is exhausted, they're just out. So yeah, we got ourselves a little bit of stuff. A general increase in prices for luxury resources is a very good thing for us. We have very little reason to buy, and an awful lot of stock to sell. Alright, so this is easy enough. Unfortunately, we will not get quite the amount of loot that we would like from that. It's a shame that law doesn't increase the value of pirate bases as well. Yeah, a little bit of Jade Onyx and a little bit of deciduous trees is not really very compelling. Osulo is getting repeatedly mega hacked. Probably there was a hack from Gatria and a hack from the Riftborn. We got a little bit of Jade Onyx. I suppose we could just boost the Nakalim with it. We don't really have a lot else to do, and yeah, a little bit more happiness, a little bit more food. Probably reasonable. Oh hey, we have 2 planets over 70%. This should pop at the beginning of next turn. So it looks like, yeah, we can't choose to flip Gia to the Academy, even when it's empty. It really does only work on other players' stuff. Well, I mean, we're pushing ISO back here. Hopefully we'll get to actually see that in action soon. It is not trivial to take over other players' stuff through influence. Let's definitely lay on support for the religious party. I would love to keep them in power. At this point, religious militarist is our best possible government. It looks like we may end up flipping them, though. Yeah. Okay, upside, obviously, approval from war is nice. Downside is that we will now have to formally declare war, which means that the AI is going to play smarter. That said, it is a free declaration, and we're gonna do some here in a second. All right, the Nakalim population has rewarded us with lots of potatoes. Apparently, they had all the potatoes. Somewhere there's a system called Arcturus. Okay, we are not an actual competitor in this. System has become a flashpoint in a galaxy-wide struggle for dominance. Yeah, we're not in the running on that one. Sorry, show me this. Okay, a bunch of green dudes have shown up on Gatria, which does complicate matters slightly for us. They have real ship designs, projectile weapons, projectile defenses. You can see from the fact that their weapons are much more effective at long range, that they're on a lot of missile weapons, but not entirely missile weapons. These things have no actual weapon systems, which might mean that they're running boarding parties. I doubt they just left the slots open, and boarding parties report as a weapon system that has 0 strength. And then they have the Phantoms here, which don't seem like great ships. They're okay. So basically the problem here is that they have 2 spirits to our 1 commander. 2876 with about 10,000 health. Yeah, wow. Their ships have a lot more offensive power than ours do. I think we are going to retreat. We're going to just run home. So all of our ships took a ton of damage there. We can heal some of that off with dust. But we are not going to have such an easy time bullying those guys. Oh, right, I have to formally declare war on Pink if I want to attack his stuff in his territory now. I don't care what he thinks about it. He's going to tell me about his one word for to die stabbing each other, and it's just, you know, I've heard it. I've heard all of your stories at this point, my friend. Okay, so back to the business of sieging. It's gotten a little bit more complicated with Green defending Gatria. We're about to pull this into Pisces, so that's a little bit of extra science. That'll be handy.
Regardless of the situation.
Okay, I think that we are in good shape still, but this definitely hurt. We're probably going to want to pull that fleet back a little bit. And Osulo's just not optimally defended. I think we want to get all the way back to here. Alright, keep boosting the Zermisala. We're almost at 20. Got our xenoanthropology. We are no longer at our threshold now, and actually, thanks to the war, all of a sudden we're like overjoyed.
I don't care what you think.
It's not sneaky if you tell me you're doing it. Okay, in Altair, produce 300 industry at either 115 food or 48 science. Both of those are pretty easy to do, but the food is less useful to us at this point since we've almost filled the system. Let's take this version of this quest. We'll get a random technology eventually. Population gained. We're also having some starvation because newly owned worlds, or newly owned systems rather. Gotten ourselves access to the National Museum, which definitely helps with the influence bubbling, which is to say we probably are going to do this here, and then we're going to start converting stuff to temples. We have pretty good food income. We have a ton of space to expand into. We should be okay here. Here, I think it should be no problem to take down, yeah, a handful of small ships. We're actually bleeding influence really badly. Oh, you know what? We have had lower fleet costs running for a while now, but we don't really need them. It is going to harm us on the Behemoth, but that'll let us at least start building influence again. And let me just... Okay, we got all this other stuff done. Time to recruit an additional hero. Hey, finally. Alright, what I would really like is a commander. So here we have a Guardian Nakalim militarist. We currently don't even have a leader for the militarist party, and Guardians have a lot of very good combat skills. Significant bonuses to fleet damage and stuff. This guy is probably the winner. Plus 5% hull plating absorption. We also have access to a couple of Seekers. So that doesn't really help. That's okay, but it only applies to his own ship. Get that damage boost thing earlier. It's not as good. Yeah, I think we're taking Nakatuan here. Nakatuan, welcome aboard. We got to wait until the fleet is actually orbiting one of our systems before we can assign him. And he does have a skill point already, so we could grab plus vision range, which is not bad. Plus vision range and XP, or fleet health. I mean, Cosmic Castaway obviously is better the earlier you take it. I'm going to take fleet health, though. I think we might be in a position here where we actually have to be a little concerned. Green having proper ships and like an actual desire to fight is going to make things a little bit more complicated for us. And yeah, I know he's unassigned. Alright. So I'm watching this very closely here. How far does our influence bubble expand each turn? Are we actually pushing on ESO very hard? It looks like no. No, we are not really even making progress. Moya is just going to keep grabbing this stuff. At what point do we start moving relics over into the heroes? It's probably pretty soon. I guess we don't need to worry about Gia anymore. There's no sense being here. We almost have full ownership of Hamal. Yes, in Osula we should probably start working on tractable armaments. It's just fortify everything. Oh, somebody purchased a pirate mark. So this will make pirates in the area way more likely to attack Nalin. I don't know if there actually are any pirates in that area. It might not be a big deal. My guess is that is not going to end up mattering very much. Alright, over here, let's assign this guy now so that I don't forget. It looks like he showed up almost at level 3. Oh no, that's a completely empty bar. It just doesn't quite connect at the top. Alright, so we should have a look at his ship. Heroes have their own ships. They're not great. They're better small ships, basically. And obviously small ships are not amazing. We might want to go for sort of a laser weapon thing here. Just, again, to keep varying our damage types. We do have some pretty bad energy modules relative to our other ones, though. Yeah, I guess let's just go bullet weapons. We need to prioritize improvements to our energy stuff. And he can install a fleet movement module, which I think is probably a pretty good idea. +1 movement for the entire fleet is awfully good. It used to be you could install these in support ships. They've changed them up a little bit, so now they're hero only, to prevent you from just building a handful of ships that are loaded down with these and increasing your fleet's movement speed to like 40, which is a thing that we definitely have done in the past. Okay, I think that's an okay design. Redesign's not super cheap, but we can afford it. It gets the job done. Okay, so we either need to make a move on Lacerda or we need to pull back and get ready to defend with this full combined force. I think maybe the right move is let's take this army down to Lacerda, let's finish it off, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do about the Riftborn from there. And we successfully hacked Nakalim. I would like to embed a sleeper. I want to know what is happening on this system at all times. So they've got it very heavily populated. You can see here, one of the things that the Cravers do is they like strip mine the planets very aggressively. By the time we take this over, it's going to have very, very poor resource output, but that's fine if we're just going to convert the whole system to temples. It won't actually affect us very much. Yeah, we're going to have to start stepping up production on Nalin. I mean, Nalin's a pretty good production system as it is, but it's got to be even more good than that. We made some good progress this episode, so what's up with our consolidation? I control 7 of the 11 systems needed to own this, so that means Revenant has 10 systems. I guess that's not a big shock. We can see an awful lot of them. I'm hopeful that we can continue to expand the influence output of Pisces. We have actually almost completely capped out our population here. There's still the tech we could research that gives you extra population space on sterile worlds, which we could take advantage of. But yeah, we're having a harder time making progress with this than I was hoping we would. Oh well, we'll figure it out. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, for hopefully the first instance of being able to sell somebody else's system to the Academy. It is frustrating to me that we still have not gotten to see that in action, and we are going to fix it. And we'll see you then.